All right, ladies and gentlemen, as the father of a son who was a year away from college, not only is it a frightening prospect because it's a frightening prospect, but wow, you look at what's going on at the campuses around the country, whether it's, you know, the little safety pins or safe zones, or if you're a conservative, or the rape allegations or whatever, throw into it the race element. And wow, is it frightening. And Scott Greer, deputy editor and columnist at the Daily Caller, is the author of a great new book, No Campus for White Men, The Transformation of Higher Education into Hateful Indoctrination. Hi, Scott. How are you, sir?
Hey, thanks for having me on today.
All right. So what motivated you to undertake this book?
Well, what motivated me was in November 2015, there was two big incidents that caught the national eye. One was at Yale University, where there was a big controversy over so-called cultural appropriating Halloween costumes. That's when somebody dresses up as an Indian or some other culture, or they have like Sombrero Day or something, where they're apparently maliciously culturally appropriating. And that's a big controversy on college campuses right now. And so around Halloween, Yale had this big controversy where a professor wrote a column being like, listen, kids, you're in college, you need to calm down. This isn't that big of a deal. And then they thought that she wrote like some pro-Nazi thing in the way they responded to it. So there's this big outburst on Yale. At the same time, University of Missouri was engulfed in protest, and they forced out their university president over these really faulty claims of racism. And when I just saw these two events, I'm like, you know, there's something really crazy going on campus, and I wanted to examine it. And I wrote a book examining why these crazy things keep happening.
Well, you know, I don't even know where to begin. I remember those incidents very well. And of course, you hear so much now about this white privilege and campus acknowledging white privilege. Campuses changing the names of buildings or proposing to change the names of buildings because they're named after slave owners. And it seems like, as you point out in your book so eloquently, the only I guess, non-protected class of student, the most frowned upon, most despised, most hated, is just what the media hates. When the media talks about, well, they call them old white men, I say they should spit after they say it, because there's such intense hatred of that whole phrase, oh, a bunch of old white men. And it's white guys on campus that are put in that same kind of category at school.
Yeah, that's why I chose the title, No Campus for White Men. I mean, of course, it's a bit cheeky, but it is giving the purpose, and it shows a lot what is happening on campus. In this kind of new moral culture that's being created on campus, whites are kind of straight white men are put at the bottom because everybody is trying to be a victim, and white people can't be victims. They can't be oppressed. They have just too much privilege and power, and they're just evil and bad. And it doesn't matter your background or beliefs. As a Caucasian, you're bad just because of the color of your skin, and you're responsible for all these terrible things that happened in the past, from slavery, segregation, colonialism, all these bad things you are responsible for. And on a college campus, you have to feel guilty for it, and you have undue privilege because of it. And that's why they're kind of put at the bottom of this new moral culture. They're put at the bottom of the totem pole in how they're socially viewed, and everybody else is on top because they can demonstrate that they're victims and oppressed by the dominant majority culture of America.
And it's real. I mean, by definition, it's racism, but it's racism in its worst form because, as you also point out, it doesn't matter what your economic status is. For instance, just because of the color of your skin, no matter how poor you are, your family is, compared to someone else who's white and rich, not that there's anything wrong with that or should be, but you're all lumped together in the same category as having this white privilege of sorts.
Yeah, and this is how I point out in No Campus for White Men. It's basically reducing people not as individuals or being judged on the content of their character. It's putting people in these collective groups that they don't necessarily have any control over. They're put in this group because of the color of skin or their ethnic background or their sexual orientation or whatever. And then that's how people gain status and influence on a college campus. It's kind of identity politics gone wild on college campus. Everybody's competing just for their own group interests, and it's pitting groups against each other. And right now on a college campus, what all these campus leftists can come together and agree upon is that white people are bad and we need to unite against them to take down whiteness, as they refer to it.
How do these universities, Scott, continue to receive? You know, Donald Trump made a statement after what happened at Berkeley to Milo that if Berkeley's not going to allow free speech, then we should maybe cut off federal funds to these colleges. If these universities, any of them, do receive federal funding, shouldn't that end?
Yeah, as one of the solutions I offer in No Campus for White Men is that our elected officials should go after schools. They should go after their funding. Elected officials have a greater power than campus leftists. The reason why administrators and professors cave into these leftists is because that's the loudest group they have to deal with. That's the most aggressive group they have to deal with on campus. But elected officials are more powerful than them because they control the money. And if elected officials started threatening to defund, such as Donald Trump has and a few state legislatures have, then we would start to see change, because if they knew they were going to start losing their money, they're going to stop caving in and stop suppressing free speech on college campus.
So what advice do you have for a father like me or a parent like me in my position, where this coming semester, this coming fall or next fall or 2 falls from now, their child is going to attend a university?
Do very thorough research. There's a great guide offered by the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, FIRE, but you can go online, you can look at it, and they rate schools based on how they treat free speech and free expression. And you can look at that guide, and if your child wants to choose a school that that doesn't respect free speech and is going to demonize them for being a conservative, then you can find that out there on FIRE's guide. Or at the same time, you can find out a school that's going to respect their right to, as an American, to express their political viewpoints, no matter what it is. So just do very thorough research and go to a school that's going to respect your son or daughter.
Scott Greer, very important book, folks. Pick it up. No Campus for White Men. There it is on your TV screen. Scott, thank you very much. Come back, sir.
Thank you.